makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin.
He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak in Visit Victory Lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slow down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon roller attack. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, there goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
Many young drivers start their racing career on the short tracks, at the grassroots level of motorsports in America. Whether it be a dirt track in Oklahoma or in the fields of Iowa, short tracks are the bread and butter of American motorsport. And Iowa is where we are tonight, the 3/4 mile speedway, and it's the 9th race of the season for the 2019 Yunzer Graphics Unreal Tour Truck Series. My name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finian DeCuna for tonight's 9th race of the season. This is kind of a short track, it's kind of a speedway, it's a little bit of both. But let me tell you, it's going to mean that everyone's going to be pushing and shoving to win a race here. We're nearing the halfway point of the season as well, so it's more important than ever to get yourself a victory and move yourself towards the chase here in a couple of weeks. Finian, Iowa Speedway always puts on a good show. Expectations for tonight, we got your eye on.
I think you got to have your eye on Matt Grunberg, man. Has 4 wins this season, and he has an 83-point lead over Cameron Rich, sitting in second place. So he's doing a great job this season so far. We'll see how he can do. He's pretty much good at every single track we go through. It's just a matter of where he ends up in the field. And we saw him not start in the front of the Truck Series race that ended up biting in the Truck Series. Wasn't able to get a win from that, but we'll see how he does tonight.
Qualifying underway right now. 3 minutes remaining as Thomas Morris is currently the one sitting at the top of the board in his number 69 truck. Sam Close in the 30G truck sitting in second. Todd Smith, a strong qualifying effort in the 64. He's P3. Hackathorn goes 8th quick first time through, but I think the second lap will be a touch quicker. We'll see as he comes on through for his second lap if he'll improve or not. Now to turn 4 comes the 44 of Hackathorn. And across the line, where does he sit? It's going to be a 22.994 is an improvement. It's going to put him right where he is, I believe. I don't think he is able to advance at all. Craig Schroeder in the 41. Haven't seen that name around in a little while. Matt Grunberg is on track at the moment. Levi Zielinski is as well in his number 6. Justin Kolb in his number 25 truck, coming off a very strong run in the Cup Series race last week at Charlotte. He's looking really strong. He's got SpongeBob SquarePants on the truck here tonight, Fiddy, and a lot of drivers running cartoon-themed race cars tonight and in tomorrow's race. That's going to be a fun one for all of us here.
Yeah, and I got the spreadsheet with all the different cartoons so we can tell you exactly what some of the drivers are running tonight. We'll keep you posted on that as the night goes on. But yeah, some fantastic paint schemes out here tonight representing different cartoons.
I think perhaps our generation was just a touch too late for cartoons to really be a huge part of our Sunday mornings, but I think I certainly watched lots, including the Pink Panther. That was a fun one back in the day. And SpongeBob, I never really got into SpongeBob much, but I kind of ended up enjoying it when I was probably 12 or 13, a little too late, a little past what most people were enjoying it at. Chad Frankenfield comes across the line. He's going to go quickest in his number 15 Chevrolet Silverado. And, of course, that Silverado always a threat to win, although got off to a slow start this year in both series, but now has racked together some pretty good finishes and is looking really strong as we make our way towards the latter half of the season. Comes across the line for his second lap. Will it be an improvement? No, not quite, but he'll still be on pole for now.
Yeah, Frankenfield, highest driver and third in the standings without a win, so still looking for that win in the 15. If he starts in pole here, he'll definitely have a fantastic shot at getting it tonight.
Paul Ross out on track, a beautiful purple number 18. That is a gorgeous livery on that car. And he's rounding turn 2 right now on his lap out, and actually might have scraped the fence there around the back straight. We'll see if he has to make another full lap. Of course, Cameron Rich been very, very competitive lately, and going to be a threat to win tonight as always. Probably 2/3 of the field has made a qualifying effort. Well over 25 trucks here this evening. 18 have taken time as we work our way towards the end of qualifying.
Oh, and Grunberg, he got on the track, but both times were discounted, I think, from hitting the wall.
That's going to be, well, I'd say going back to the front's pretty tricky, but for Grunberg at a short track, I don't think it's going to be that difficult for him to get up there. How about Corey Lindsay, a 10th place qualifying effort in his Mobil 1 00, and he's going to pull into pit lane. And qualifying will be complete here in just a moment. And Cody McCorkle's the last one on track. I don't think he's going to get a chance to run a lap, though. So it will be Chad Frankenfield and Thomas Morris sharing the front row here for the 9th race of the season as we get ready to go racing for 133 laps around Iowa Speedway. This is a fun track, Finney, and the back straightaway was really short. Feels a lot like Richmond in several respects, but I'd say I like this place a little bit more than Richmond. I certainly hold some memories here running Class C fixed in the official side of things. It's a fun racetrack, and I think drivers have a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, definitely, but guys also got to be careful of this track. Particularly turns 1 and 2. A lot of guys like to come run as close as you can to that apron, that yellow line. You can definitely go below it, but just because you can go below it doesn't mean you should. I've seen so many cars wrecked from just clipping that apron and sending your truck loose, and I don't think anyone wants to have that happen, so you got to watch out for guys clipping it. I imagine someone's going to do it tonight, and I'd imagine none of them want to be the one that does.
Multiple groups to work with for sure. As we take a look at our starting lineup, we mentioned Chad Frankenfield and Thomas Morris, both sharing the front row in their Chevrolet Silverados, the 15, that camouflage paint scheme, the 69, and that blue and yellow truck on the outside lane. Moving back to row 2, it's Paul Ross and Sam Close, the 3OG teammates, both in Toyota Tundras. They'll be starting in row 2. And moving on back to row number 3, it's Todd Smith, a great qualifying effort in his number 64 Chevrolet Silverado. And for Nathan Velez on the outside of row number 3, he's had some strong runs lately. Probably should have finished better last week, but slid down through the field. I believe that was in the Cup race. Rusty Capel in 7th alongside Kevin Finn, who's had some extremely strong runs as well. He's really started to become a championship contender. Richard Hines, Corey Lindsay, 9th and 10th in their Chevrolet Silverado. And we'll let the rest of that continue to roll along the bottom of your screen, but I think dark horse tonight, Finian. I wouldn't really consider Cameron Rich a dark horse, but how about Robert Hill Jr. in that 38? Started up front last week and then quickly dropped to the rear of the field, but this guy's got some talent. He won at Watkins Glen a few weeks ago. Actually, it was a little 6 weeks ago now, race number 3 of the season, but he has yet to get a victory on an oval. I think tonight's his night. Short tracks and road courses tend to go hand in hand. I think Robert Hill Jr. goes to victory lane this evening.
Yeah, I think he definitely wants to be in victory lane somewhere up towards the front. His last finish at Charlotte was his lowest this season so far in 27, so he's definitely going to want to try to rebound from that. Definitely can. We see he's a very capable driver, and just hopefully he can get to the front here. He's going to have a lot of traffic, though, to navigate to get to the front, though.
Field rolling off of the pit lane, gearing up for 133 laps. It's a relatively short race. It'll only take about 50 minutes if we go green from start to finish, and that's not out of the question here, Finney. We saw a lot of green flag racing the last few times out with these trucks. So I think we're really looking forward to a great race this evening. And, of course, Cup race tomorrow night. Same location, same time, on a Monday night instead of a Sunday. Field concluding their pace laps here shortly, and we'll get ready to go racing. And we'll see how it goes. It's going to descend into darkness here. That's going to affect the handling. We'll take a look at our track conditions. It's 91 on the track right now. It's probably going to cool off just a little bit, enough to make this racetrack faster and grippier as the night goes on, and that's going to mean fun for everybody. I think everyone seems to like nighttime racing here in iRacing, but the trucks have recently gotten an update here within the iRacing service. They idle higher, they rev lower, they handle a little bit different, so that's going to present a challenge to these drivers, and it's nothing new from last week, but the first time at a short track since that has changed, where I think arguably the handling probably matters quite a bit because you're transitioning to the brakes so often here. So that 15 car going to elect for the outside lane, probably a good decision here, Finian. I think the outside's the place to be most of the night tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine guys are going to have a field day trying to get to the top side as quick as they can to try to get those runs to the corner, but we'll see here what these guys do. We'll see if Frankenfield can get it done here and get that elusive win this season.
Field rolling through turns 3 and 4, 133 laps. The pace cars to make that hard left-hand turn down onto the apron and down into pit lane. The flagman's waiting to throw that green flag in the air. Pace car pulls off. The 15's going to lead him down. Green flag flies racing in Iowa.
Fantastic start from Frankenfield, but behind them, everyone's still side by side trying to fight it out into turn 1.
And tiptoeing here early, tire pressures are low. You don't have a whole lot of grip in the truck, but for second place, Paul Ross isn't waiting. He's going to go to the inside of Thomas Morris down into turn 3. Make a move on lap 1.
He's going to try to do it. Morris running that out, telling we were talking about it being the better lane, and there you see Morris get the good run off the corner, but Ross still there.
64, Todd Smith throwing a block there on the 00. Actually, is that that's the 14 truck, I believe, of Kevin Finn in new colors this week. Tag Heuer on the car. And Corey Lindsay right behind them in 8th place. He's already jumped up a couple spots, but that battle for second hot as the 18 dives to the inside in turn 3. But Frankenfield has just lit a match, and he is on fire right now early in the going.
Yeah, imagine these two guys fighting side by side for second is definitely helping them out. It's kind of holding everyone else up behind while Frankenfield can drive away.
Sam Close, the 3OG Racing teammate of that 18. He's going to slot himself into 4th and wait for an opportunity as well. We got some action, and we got, a crash on the back straightaway. It's the 00 and the 09. It's Corey Lindsay, and Johnny Thomas spun out, caution out here early. And both these trucks are running well. No damage, it's not that I can see.
Yeah, it's very light contact between them.
Let's go back and take a look from up above, perhaps, give us a better bird's eye view of what happened. 09 gets a run on the exit of turn 2. Oh, Lindsay just got sideways and got out of control, and Thomas slammed on the brakes and jerked the car to the left to try to miss him, but couldn't. And they both spun, but they'll be just fine. Of course, a spin here on the opening lap's not what you want to see. All your qualifying efforts gone out the drain quick. So, this early in the race, I think you stay out here, Finney. I don't think pitting is really an option this early.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. I think it's definitely way too early to come down. Barely had any laps under green. Maybe if you're in the back, why not? You're already towards the back, and you can see some guys peeling off. Jordan McKeeboy, Grunberg coming in, also Austin Derbyshire. So a bunch of guys in the back half of the field deciding, why not? You're already there. Come get some fresh tires, top off on some gas.
We're going to see some pit strategy maybe later in the race. But I think we are going to see the lap times drop off. So once you run more than 5 or 10 laps, I think you're definitely going to want to come. But this early in the race, I think everyone's just trying to figure out what they have here. So if you're, from Derbyshire on back, I think that's a good decision to come get tires. You might as well just kind of see what you got out there and stay out of the fray while everyone gets themselves sorted out. But again, 3/4 of a mile racetrack, Finney, and a little bit more than that actually, about more like 8/10. It's a tight racetrack, but it's also kind of fast. It's got enough banking to hold you at speed through the corners. And you're doing 3/4 of a mile in about 23 seconds around here, so you're definitely moving. But the inside lane, especially down in turns 1 and 2, very, very bumpy. So how do you cope with that as a driver early in the race so you don't have much tire pressure?
I think really the best way is just try to take a different angle in the corner, try to avoid the bumps. Maybe figure out a better lane that you can get through the corner at a decent speed, but trying to avoid those bumps. Because there's also one high in the entry of turn 1. I know if you're run the high lane, you gotta be careful of that one because that could absolutely send you up into the wall. So again, you do need some knowledge about the track and the bumps, as crazy as it sounds, because they'll make a big difference, especially at this track.
Field rolling through turns 1 and 2. Should be a relatively quick caution. Nobody's a lap down yet. Wade Lear did not take the green flag in his number 11, so there's 25 trucks on the lead lap. 26 showed up for the night. Of course, Wade Lear will not make a start this evening, or at least has not started yet. Matt Hackathorn comes into pit lane. He's going to drop all the way back to that 25th spot, but of course Johnny Thomas and Corey Lindsay started up inside the top 10, and they're going to be back in 23rd and 24th for the restart. Not the way you want to start your night.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You don't want to start, but it could have been a lot worse. They only got a little bit of a nudge from each other, some small dents on the fenders, but other than that, their trucks are good and ready to go.
And on the nose of Chad Frankenfield, and the lights stay on the pace car, so we'll have 2 more caution laps before we get back running again. And I'm trying to hear. Frankenfield's really got that truck in low gear and is really coasting around. Any fuel you can save will be helpful, but 70 laps you can run on a tank here, Finney. It's going to be a one-stopper, I would think, if this race were to go green, although I think caution comes out, you're going to want to take for Mr. Fieldgoods.
Yeah, definitely, especially if you start getting some pretty decent runs, which is what we're looking like we might get tonight, especially with a relatively low fuel count for these guys being only 25. That's spectacular numbers this season so far, so I think that'll also come into play as well. So I expect this race to go pretty green. Hopefully it does go pretty green, and these guys can get this sorted out. But yeah, quick caution, surprisingly long caution too. I don't know why it added that extra pace lap.
It seems like that was a little 1 lap too long, actually. I'm not quite sure why that was the case, but now we should see those lights shut off on that FR500 pace car, and there they are. And the ticker goes purple, indicating 1 lap to green. We'll get a restart on lap number 9. We'll try this again. So what that tells me, seeing Corey Lindsay make that mistake early, is that it's slick out there right now. We talked about the temperature. It's not extremely hot at all. It's only about 91 on the racetrack. But the tire pressures are low. They didn't get time to build. It's a bumpy racetrack that can upset the truck in a lot of different places. So maybe just kind of take it easy until you get your truck in the groove and you get comfortable out there.
Yeah, really, it's just a matter of kind of getting sorted out, getting into a rhythm, getting, and as you were talking about, getting the tires up to temp to really get some grip out of them.
So Morris going to be on the inside lane in his number 69. A great qualifying effort by Thomas Morris, originally coming over from the Scars side of things, and this season has turned his focus to the 3-wide truck series as we roll out of turn 4. It's going to be the 15 in control again. Starter's got the green flag in hand, and green flag's back in the air, and again, Frainfield with a spectacular restart.
Yeah, also Sam Close in behind in the 5 car on the top side trying to get around Morris. His teammate didn't have luck earlier. He's going to try to fancy his luck, trying to take second place away, but Morris giving a fight.
Out of turn 2, so far so good. You mentioned those top 2 fighting, or really the 2 of the top 3 fighting for position. Moving on back through the field, positions under attack everywhere, but that battle for second still hard underway. The 5 of Sam Close on the outside, trying to make momentum on the outside of the 69. But that's a hard pass to make here this early.
Yeah, and it looks like Morris is going to slot just in front of the 5, closing out to settle for third, but no, he looks back to the inside of the 69. He's going to try the other way around.
Look at Frankenfield up the road. He's way high on the racetrack. And we knew the high line would be effective. I don't know about that high, though. He's really testing the grounds here early to see what speed is up there. Look at Paul Ross now. So it's the 3OG teammates hunting down that 69 behind Velez under attack. That's the 14 of Kevin Finn to his inside.
Yeah, Close with a great run is going to go back on Morris again. And he's not giving this up. He wants second place.
Rusty Capel got in defense out of turn 2. A slight wall contact. He'll lose at some positions here. About 3 or 4 in total. And right behind him, you see that's the 17 at Cameron Rich. He's won a couple times this season in 3-wide action and looking for another one tonight after starting 19th.
Yeah, starting 19th, currently up into 12th, so moving forward pretty early before that 17. We expect to move quite a lot forward before the night is over. But, whoa, big mix-up in the front. Close has gone wide, and now Ross is trying to get the spot on him.
Yeah, it was interesting. The 69 was up in the middle of the racetrack. The 5 was way outside, and the 18 was way inside. So they're really launching an all-out 3OG attack on that 69 truck. And I guess you pick both lanes. I guess one of them's got to prevail eventually.
Yeah, we got to be careful, though. Kevin Finn in the 14's caught up behind them, and he's just going to go for any spot he can as these guys are fanning out all across the track trying to find grip.
Kevin Finn off to a great start. He started in 8th place. He's gained 3 spots, looking for couple more, and very quickly catching this group of trucks. Side by side on the back straight, the 14 has gotten to the outside of Paul Ross, and Ross re-clears him in turn 3, but that run on the exit of turn 4, that is really where all the passes are going to be made tonight, on the outside of turn 4, carrying the momentum. That's what Kevin Finn just did. That's a model maneuver for what we're going to see most of the night.
Ross still trying to make that inside lane work, and you see him, he's pretty good off of 2 on that inside lane, but here they come down to turn 3 and 4, and like you said, that run off of 4 is extremely dominant.
Saw some sparks flying potentially from the 5 truck as they got off into the corner, maybe scraped the wall just a little bit. Ooh, Ross threw a big block on the 14 out of turn 4, slid up right in front of him, and Finn dives to the inside, and going to try to bring that back to the 18.
Almost washed up into him, was trying to throw that dive, and Ross is going to hold on to 4th place on the outside lane. Now Finn going the inside. Also in front of them, now Close again on the 69 for second.
And you know who's loving this right now is that 15 to Frankenfield stretching the lead out to 6/10 of a second as there's a big gaggle behind. 3 wide on the front straight. I think Velez got in the fence out of turn 4. Some right side damage to that truck as everyone scrambles to get around it.
Yeah, just got into the wall, and you saw on screen there, everyone checking up to avoid him. Everyone did a great job, but unfortunately for Velez, his struggles are going to continue this season.
Yeah, big hit to the outside wall. That's significant there. That's enough to damage the truck and really mess with the suspension. So he's going to let the 25 of Justin Colbon by. He has Rusty Capel, Brandon Kluser, who's closing from behind as we have a battle for 8th place. There's Cameron Rich to the inside of the 38 of Robert Hill Jr. How about Hill Jr., though? Started in 15th spot up to 9th. I told you, he was my dark horse tonight. And that black truck, keep an eye out.
Yeah, and also, Cameron Rich, nothing really much needs to be said about him. Currently up in 9th after starting in 19, so definitely gained, or 8th after starting 19, definitely made up quite a few spots, and he's got a big pack. Half of his pack, after second place on back, between 2nd and 7th. Huge amount of cars.
Yeah, I think it's really all held up because the 69 trucker just refuses to get past, and the 5 of Sam Close working in the inside lane and really slowing this whole group down. It's about 6 trucks there all packed together. Dangerous place to be this early in the race. I don't think everyone's quite got their trucks figured out yet, so you don't want to make a mistake early and wad up a bunch of the field. We saw that last night in the Outsider Racing League race at Gateway. The leader of the group slipped in turn 4 and wadded the entire field up, so things can happen in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, indeed they can, and Morris all the way up against the safer barrier, trying to get a run off of 4. Paul Ross all over him, as well as Kevin Finn. And how about Josh Adams? Haven't mentioned him so far tonight, up in 6th.
Morris gets passed by most of the 3OG cars, but Ross clips his teammate, sends him way up the racetrack. The 69 gets turned at the exit of turn 2. He spins, caution out for the 2nd time. He's going to back in. Oh, man, he just missed slamming that wall. Wow. That was a dramatic corner.
Yeah, it really was.
So caution out for the 2nd time tonight, lap number 22. Let's go back and take a look. Look again from up above. It was really started with the 5 and the 18. They got together, and then the 69 gets clipped from the 95 of Josh Adams, and around he goes.
Yeah, I think Morris kind of panicked seeing that that 5 go up the track. I think he decided to go low to try to avoid it, but unfortunately Adams was there in the same spot. So you're talking about someone making a mistake and wanting up the field. Field didn't get watered up, but one car went spinning.
See them get together, and then 95 drives in there, and you guys just really not giving each other enough room there. You can't really place that on either car, but you can't really just call it necessarily a racing incident either. I think they both had room to give, and neither gave an inch. I think the 69 held the 95 down too much. The 95 had room on the bottom, so they'll probably disagree on that exact scenario here, but probably a bit more on the 95, but I guess we'll see how they handle it later tonight. As the field hits pit road, no surprises here. I think everyone's going to want 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, we'll see. Does anyone dare to try 2? I mean, if you're going to experiment, definitely want to do it early on.
Ooh, Todd Smith missed his pit box, and that's going to cost him some time. But Frankenfield's going to fire off, but is it going to be the first one off pit lane? Close! Zielinski might have beaten him to the line, not quite. Frankenfield gets it.
Yeah, no, but it was definitely very close between them.
Let's watch the replay of that as they came off a pit lane here. Here's a look from just up above. Green cones is what you're looking at. Oh, man, that was only a couple feet. But Zielinski, a net gain of a couple spots there. And he only took 2 tires, so a 2-tire stop for the 6 truck. This will be interesting to see if this is really a viable strategy option. They only ran about 22 laps. I'd say probably 15 of them under green. Maybe a bit more than that. So we'll see if... Actually, does Zielinski have the lead, or is he just messing around right now?
I don't know, because I saw Frankenfield crossing the line first, unless that's legit.
Could be.
Oh.
Field rolls out of turn 2. We'll re-rack him, restack him, go for another restart here. But 2 cautions have slowed the progress early. First one was between the 00 and the 09 at the exit of turn 2, and then again on the exit of turn 2. It was the 69 and the 95 getting together. I'm actually surprised we're seeing more issues in turn 2, because typically when I think of Iowa Rex fitting, I think of the exit of turn 4 and sliding up across somebody's nose. That's usually where we see accidents happen.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing out of turn 2, well, we saw one just getting loose early on, but the track starting to cool down just a little bit as the sun begins to set.
Dropped a degree or 2 on the racetrack. That will affect the handling, and also the clouds coming over, dimming the racetrack a little bit as well. It gets the direct heat, the direct sunlight off. That will help the track grip up a little bit as well. So these cautions are a lap longer than I think they need to be, aren't they? I don't think there's...
Yeah, I think so, especially because usually it's only a lap longer if there's a car a lap down, and everyone out there is on the lead lap.
Yep, that's correct. So I'm a little confused about that one, but I guess I don't know Iowa's procedures very well. Josh Adams, the other truck involved in that collision, is going to restart in P5. No damage on that truck. It was a light contact, but that just goes to show you how on edge these trucks are. I think that's the biggest change from the physics update these trucks got a few weeks ago. They're a lot twitchier than they were before, and it doesn't take a lot to knock them sideways. And at a track like Iowa, you're under throttle, and you got the truck loaded up on the right side, so it will spin around on you if you make contact with it. We've seen that twice tonight.
Yeah, I think also, as you saw in that little pack that was forming behind first place, with everyone in such close quarters, just if someone makes just a slight bit of contact, as we saw, just it's enough to send the truck around.
So it looks like Levi Zielinski is scored as the leader at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know how on earth that happened. I'm sure Frank Field's probably also a little bit confused.
You know, my favorite thing about this pace car, the paint scheme being 25 years old, is the the In Racing News logo on the quarter panel. That is an iRacing promotion that died in like 2011.
Oh, I didn't realize they never took that off. But yeah, I guess that just makes sense. That paint scheme.
So where's Matt Grunberg? There's an update on the 54. He's all the way back in 14th place, but after starting at the rear, pretty good advancement. He's got the Clone Wars on the side of that truck.
Yeah, that's a fantastic series. That's one of my favorite cartoons.
Does he have a number? Oh, he does. It's on the quarter panel.
Yeah,
I was trying to find it, and I found it. All right, 6 trucks going to take the outside lane. Zielinski is the control vehicle for this restart. And so far, the 15 has been in a position of strength. How will he do, having to pass another competitor? Pace car pulls off, and the trucks fire back up. Green flag back in the air, and Zielinski gets a great restart.
Yeah, Frank Field actually a very poor restart. It looks like Sam Close might get the spot as they head off into turn 1, as he's got a great run on that outside lane.
Oh, but look at the 15 throttle up in the middle corner. He's going to complete that pass. Here comes Cameron Rich on the outside, almost 3 wide down the back straight between Paul Ross and Cameron Rich in the 95. Oh, Robert Hill Jr. up the middle. He forced the 17 up the racetrack. He's going to grab that spot, move himself up into the 6. A strong move for the Watkins Glen winner.
Yeah, did a great move on 17. I think scared Rich a little bit. He had to back out of that, and that allowed Kevin Finn to mosey his way on through. So guys still going for aggressive spots here for the lead. Frank Field to the inside. Cameron
Rich all sorts of sideways out of turn 2, and actually the truck to the outside of him, I think it was the 64, got in the fence. But side by side for the lead now. Look at Josh Adams duking and diving Paul Ross behind. That's for 4th place as the leaders go side by side down into turn 1.
Remember, Frankie Field took 4 tires. Zielinski only took 2 there. He's loose off of 2.
And a crash, and the field gets involved. 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks and more getting involved in the collision, and the 6th truck of Zielinski is chunked. And the 44 Hackathorn drills him in the door as they conclude that wreck. And that was just a train wreck. And the 9 of Capel gets in the back of the 41 as they all slam to a stop. And they're still crashing there on the back straight. What a shame that was. Josh Adams as well in the 95. His night might be over with that damage.
Wow. He took a lot of damage to his truck.
I talked about this just a little while ago about last night's race in the Outsider Racing League, how we saw those multi-car collisions at Gateway. Well, similar situation here. Here's a look. The 6 truck gets all out of shape and spins out and spun out about as small of a footprint as you could. Kept it to the outside, but nowhere Adams or Paul Ross could go.
Yeah, and the problem there is that everyone off of turn 2 is pretty much coming into that outside lane naturally, so everyone pretty much got put in the same spot and nowhere for everyone to go.
Yeah, take another look at this. Was there some net code between these trucks, Finian? I don't think so. I think it just got loose.
Yeah, I think it just got loose, and I mean, we were just talking about it as it happened. He only took 2 tires, so I think it was lacking some grip, and around he went.
Of course, the 6 truck gets doored at the end by Matt Hackathorn, and we'll actually ride on board with the 44. Here's his look. And honestly, you still can't see the wreck is happening. All of a sudden you see it, and you're hoping it clears up. You're on the brakes, and there's just nothing you can do. You try to hunt your way through, and there's just that 6 truck lying prone right in the middle of the track and drills him in the door panel there. Also, the 95 of Josh Adams will ride on board with him. Not much he can do here. Got drilled by the 64 as well. I saw the 3 at Kloosterhoos get through relatively easily. Here's his view. And just, Kloosterhoos got in the back of the 25 of Cobe and hunted his way through the middle after that, so technically was involved. A lot of trucks torn up in that one.
Yeah, definitely a lot of trucks indeed. Still waiting to kind of get the full count for how many guys are going to be out of it. I know definitely Kevin Finn is going to be out at least for a while. His truck was smoking down the back straightaway.
Matt Grunberg managed to get through, and he is now in 4th place So after starting all the way back in 20th, he's up to 4th. So plus 16 in 32 laps with the help of a collision. He's looking pretty good right now. And I got to say, I got to give a shout out to Tate Lytle, sitting in the YouTube chat right now. He said it's going to be between the 17, the 15, and 54. And all 3 of those trucks currently inside the top 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was just about to say to look at those that top 4 right there. Really stacked. A lot of great drivers in there. Frankenfield, Rich, Grunberg, and Close all going at it. Lucky for Close too, just narrowly avoiding that incident. Was right in behind it. He was able to sneak his way on through it and continue on in this race.
All right, so let's do a quick check on all the drivers that were involved. Todd Smith got a pretty good chunk of damage, but he looks like he'll be able to continue. Rusty Capel got a couple scratches. Kevin Finn, that truck pretty well damaged, but he should be able to return, albeit a couple laps down. Paul Ross is back out on the racetrack. I think Josh Adams is done for the night. Robert Hill Jr. received some damage. He's back rolling, as is Matt Hackathorn. Now we have several trucks 1 lap down, and 17 on the lead lap, as we have 100 laps to go when we get back to the start-finish line. About 39 minutes of racing remaining if it were to go green, but we have not gone green. We've had a caution about once every 11 laps or so. It's slower progress so far. I guess this will... You know, we talked earlier that these guys have been running pretty clean and green the last couple races. Things seem to have turned around a little bit here at Iowa.
Yeah, and I don't think we should be too surprised. We said it drives like a short track, and you know, a lot of times in iRacing, the short tracks tend to have some of the most cautions you'll see all season long. So,
well, and even if you think back to the driver development series, they had I believe they had a double header here, and that was the first one was an absolute disaster. The second one was very, very good. So there still is lots of potential here for these guys to clean it up, but a couple front runners involved in those collisions. Kevin Finn, Josh Adams, Paul Ross, Levi Zielinski, and Robert Hill Jr. all receiving crash damage.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason to blame, I think, for a lot of the cautions, 2 of them are pretty much due to guys just getting loose, particularly off of turn 2. So we'll see. Track is now at 88 degrees, so it's really cooling down now as the sun is setting. We'll see if, as the night goes on, if these guys will have more grip to work with. You should see less guys spinning, hopefully.
We'll see how that plays out. There'll be 99 laps to go. It's Frankenfield back in control of the field on the outside lane again. He's been near perfect on these restarts so far. As they exit turn number 4, the pace cars make that hard left. 15 is in control of the field. Green flag back in the air.
Ooh, poor start for Sam Close in second. It looks like he might drop back to 3rd as Grunberg gets a fantastic shot out of a cannon, and he goes up in 2nd place.
Everyone tiptoeing right now, trying not to make the same mistakes everyone else has made so far, but Grunberg into that 2nd spot. We knew he'd be strong, but does he have enough speed to launch on that 15 of Chad Frankenfield? Meanwhile, there's all sorts of battles throughout the field. There's Brandon Klooster, who's in the 3, trying to launch an attack on the 26 of Sweeting. We haven't seen a whole lot out of him tonight, but for that top spot, do you think that 15 can hang on, or is that 54 the one to beat?
I think that 15 can hang on. A lot to see. We haven't seen Grunberg up here yet. We'll see what he can do in that Clone Wars machine.
Sun is setting in the background. Cody McCorkle in the 12. He started in 26. That's essentially dead last. Running 6th right now after the restart. So he's clawed his way through the accidents. Right behind him, Richard Hines started 9th. He's up to 7th. We got one way low. That's Klooster, who's on the apron on the front straight, giving up a few spots.
Yeah, I think got a little bit loose off the corner. Is going to let people get on by, try to avoid another incident.
McCorkle working that outside lane. So typically turn 4 has been the trouble spot, but it seems like turn 2 is Calamity Corner this evening, and we'll see if that continues to be the case as Sam Close and Cameron Ridge battling for 3rd, but that top spot, that lead has not grown for Chad Frankenfield. He's got Matt Grunberg right on his rear spoiler.
Yeah, I think Grunberg opting for a later exit, just trying to get a run on that 15. There you see him go all the way to the opposite side of the track to get a run. And it seems to be working out for him. Ooh, behind them, though, for 3rd place. Big battle going on between Cameron Rich and Sam Close.
Watching off the rear window of the 15 as the battle for the lead continues, but for 3rd as well. So Cameron Rich goes to the inside of Close, and Grunberg goes to the inside of leader Chad Frankenfield as they exit turn 4.
Yeah, those guys side by side, but Frankenfield, again, using that high side is really where the pace is.
You see that 17 bouncing over those bumps through turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Got a pretty good run on the 5. Hasn't been able to quite complete the pass, and the outside lane I think is better in 3 and 4.
Yeah, Rich going to try to clear for position here, but no, Close is going to get that run, and also Luis Almaso.
Haven't seen a whole lot of him tonight. He's been pretty quiet in that Incredibles number 4. And started 23rd up into 5th. And he's going to take a look to the outside of the 17. Almost got the nose there. Yes, he did. Battle for the lead continues up the road.
Yeah, Grunberg with a big dive to the inside of Frankenfield in turn 4, but not going to be able to do anything off the corner.
Yeah, it seems like 1 and 2, the place to be is on the inside, and 3 and 4, you want to be in the outside lane. So that's going to adjust as the rubber gets laid down and night goes on. But this is a relatively short race. In terms of the fuel, it's really a one-stopper from here if it were to go green. So there's really no strategy, not a whole lot at least, in this race. It's pretty much an all-out sprint to the end, and this is 2 of the best right here.
Yeah, indeed. And behind them, Salmaso's cleared Rich for 4th place, and he's on a march forward in that 4 machine.
He sure is. He's closed in on teammate Sam Close in the number 5. And that gap continues to close. Look, and you can see visually gained about 20-30 feet on him down the back straightaway. And now about a half a car length off in turn 4, but closes that down to nothing. He might have a look here down on this end of the racetrack. Top spots are getting pretty close again too. Grunberg sizing up that leader.
He's been sizing up for quite a few laps. I think he's just been struggling, trying to find a way around. You see him dive into turn 4, but just couldn't get it done. He really used to try to get that high side away from that 15.
The sky is on fire beyond turn 4. Beautiful sunset here in Iowa, Newton, Iowa, for the 9th race of the 2019 Years of Graphics Unreal Tour. And a great battle for the lead. And look at Grunberg heading to the high side. Oh, caution in the background. It's Sweeting.
Sweeting off of turn 2, it seems.
And Calamity Corner strikes again. The Mystery Motorsports Silverado goes for a loop. We go back and see probably a very similar story to what we've been seeing all night so far. Following the 09 of Johnny Thomas, the 25 of Kolb, who is inside. And yep, just got sideways, corrected, and whoop, Klusterhuis got through. Just barely, but an innocent spin to the inside, our 4th caution of the night. And we're continuing that trend, about 10 laps and then a yellow here, Finian. So it seems like the Larry Mack trends of the race are pretty consistent, at least.
Yeah, it's consistent so far. A lot of lazy spins off of turn 2 will bring out quite a few cautions, as you said. And I think this is really, again, just due to the tires wearing out and guys just being caught up by that just a little bit. And it's enough to send these trucks around.
So, are you surprised that no one tried to stay out here?
No, I don't think so. I think people saw Zelensky struggling, and I imagine a lot of guys were starting to struggle with the wear. So I think everyone's thinking, you know what, might as well come down and get 4 tires rather than just trying to stay out there. And it seems everyone's down a pit road, so might as well follow the pack.
Yeah, I can't remember a time when I remember these trucks being difficult to drive at Iowa, but this new physics update these trucks got a few weeks ago really seemed to make these trucks a lot more on edge, a lot more difficult to drive, and that's really going to benefit the drivers that race on the Cup side as well. So you're seeing a lot of drivers that run very well in Cup running very well tonight. And honestly, the Cup package is somewhere between a truck and an Indy car in terms of how it drives. So I would say that that your Cup stars will probably run these trucks pretty well, considering they are a bit more on edge than they used to be. It used to be difficult to actually spin these trucks out. They were so glued to the ground. But whatever change has been made has made that characteristic disappear.
Yep, and on the race off the pit road, Luis Salmaso is overtaking Sam Close, so he moves up into 3rd. And Salmaso, again, as you said earlier, pretty quiet night for him. Started back in 23rd, is now up into 3rd place, so a 20-spot gain for the Ford truck.
So, what's your opinion on this, though? I mean, Salmaso gained a spot, yes, but he's going to be on the inside lane for the restart. The outside is where the 15 of Frankenfield is going to be. Do you think that's a short-term gain, long-term loss sort of situation on the caution here?
It really kind of depends on the run down at turn 1 while these guys are still getting up to speed. You don't really get that run off the corner, so I wouldn't say the inside's necessarily the place to be, but it's not really a bad place to be either. I think he's going to have to try, though, to try to find his way to the high side, hopefully in front of that 5, before they get to turn 3 to try to take advantage.
Working lap number 48 of 133. We've had 4 cautions slow the pace so far. 17 of our 48 laps have been under yellow. We've had 2 lead changes. It's been mostly the 15 of Frankenfield out up front. No surprise there. He started on pole. He's been wicked quick all night. That's the 38 truck of Robert Hill Jr. Going to take a wave around here. And still 2 laps left. Caution's quite lengthy here at Iowa. So, what's going on SimTV this week? Well, not a whole lot. So, tomorrow night we have the Race Kings Cup Series from Iowa. Same time as tonight's race, 9:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday night. That is tomorrow. And it'll be more cartoon-themed race cars doing battle at Iowa. And then Tuesday, it's the Grid Life iRacers Stadium Super Trucks League. That has been extremely entertaining, extremely underrated so far. We have not really seen the viewership that we saw with the Mazda and the Porsche championships that Grid Life has run, but trust me, I actually think this is probably one of the best series we've done. There is so much action to look at, so check that out. It'll be Tuesday night, 8:40 p.m. The tracks to be determined. They will do 2 different ones, 15-minute races with IMSA drivers Tom O'Gorman and others, to name a few of the big names there. GLTC drivers DJ Alessandrini and Eric Coutil. So some big names running that series, and we'll see them on Tuesday. Then we're off until Saturday, outside of Racing League action from the Daytona Road Course on Saturday night, 10 p.m. And I'm really, really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's really going to be a fantastic race. I've never seen a race at the Daytona Road Course with a stock car, so it should be very entertaining to watch those guys try to navigate that track.
I've never even driven more than a couple laps in a stock car around that road course because it's really difficult to get a setup that will work well. But if we know anything about their administrator, Andrew Telganoff, they will get that setup right, and it will be fun to watch. One of my favorite races of the season, the Indianapolis Road Course. It was their race number 10. Prior to their chase, which is ongoing. We've already completed 3 of 5, right? 5? Or 7?
Yeah, I think it's 7.
7? Maybe 7 races. But anyway, our race tonight is going to resume on lap number 51. It's going to be the 15 in the outside lane, and he's going to launch. Green flag back in the air.
Yeah, great start for Frankenfield. Close following suit as well as Grudenberg. Not too shabby for him. He dives in behind Frankenfield to secure that second spot.
Field scrambling down in turn 1. Cameron Rich dives to the inside. He slips!
Oh! He saves
No, he doesn't!
it.
He hits the 12 and spins, and the 69's collected and more collisions. The 09 of Johnny Thomas again involved. And for the 17 of Rich, a big crash on the back straight. Got away with relatively minimal damage, all things considered. But a big mistake there for the 17, and again, turn 2, the challenging corner tonight. He just drives down to the inside, hits a bump wrong, gets unsettled, and just swings out, almost has it saved, corrects back into McCorkle, and was along for the ride there. And Johnny Thomas just spun to try to miss it. And for the second time tonight, he's been trying to take evasive action. There's just not enough grip out there for you to do that without wrecking yourself. Or did he actually get, he might have gotten hit too.
He got hit from behind from Brandon Klooster's.
Here's another look. Oh yeah, Klooster's drilled the 09. So how much damage does the 3 truck have? Is an even better question. We catch back up live and try to catch that 3 truck. That's pretty torn up there, Finian.
Yeah, again, I think the big thing for him, he hopes he doesn't have too much damage to the engine.
Well, you know, another thing to keep in mind here is we deviate from pretending this is real life for 2 seconds, is that iRacing's working on that new damage model, and the amount of effort that's gone into the visual damage on new vehicles has gone way down because they're working on the new model. And so that damage for the 3 is a lot worse than it looks. I think we've seen that with the LMP1 cars as well. Their damage model doesn't really show very much of anything, but trust me, you hit a curb the wrong way, you look at a curb the wrong way, and your night's pretty much destroyed.
I was gonna say, for those cars, it's almost non-existent.
I don't even think you have any damage at all. To be totally honest.
It's barely any visual damage, but you could definitely feel it as a driver, I can tell you that.
We've talked tonight about the beautiful sunset. You mentioned it pre-race, Vinny, and the sky is very pretty here in Newton, Iowa tonight. The simulated sky, rather, and it's interesting how the sky can change. We don't usually see nighttime or sunsets that look too much different, but when you change the conditions up, it certainly does change how the racetrack looks. The sky very yellow at the moment. How about we talk to Sam Close in the number 5. If we can get a hold of him, I would like to chat with the 3OG Racing driver. Hey, Sam Close, it's Kyle from SimTV. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, so far so good for you and your 3OG Racing teammates. I know there was a collision there for Paul Ross, so he's kind of in trouble, but for you and Luis, it's going pretty well inside the top 5 at the moment. Do you think you can win this race, and can you launch an attack on those front 2?
Yeah, I think we need a longer run. At the end of that one run that went a little bit longer, I was trying to save the right front, and in the last 2 laps, we gained like 0.3 of a second. So I just need a little bit more time to be able to save the right front and kind of lean on the right rear a little bit, and I think we can reel them back in because they're fighting.
We've seen all of the cautions tonight happen at the exit of turn number 2. What's making that so tricky tonight? Is it the physics update of the truck? Is it the bumps? Is it the setup? What's causing that to be so treacherous?
It's the setup a little bit. If you come off of there on a weird angle in the transition with the banking, you just kind of lose the back end. So you have to be careful with it. If you're on the right line, but if you're making a move or having to move around a car, it can get really tricky. Running by yourself is not too bad, but that angle coming off is.
All right, we're going to let you get back to work, Sam. Good luck out there. Be restarting on the outside lane behind Chad Frickenfield. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we're going to head back here. We'll get the 1 to green here in just a moment. Pace truck, or I keep saying pace truck. They really should use the Silverado. They should let you have the Silverado as an option for the trucks. I think that'd be better.
I think those things are ginormous and look a little bit silly compared to these trucks.
And they use the trucks in the real world. Why can't we use it here?
Ooh, Paul Ross given a EOL penalty, although he's actually just coming out of the pit, so...
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think that makes sense there, as the lights do go off on the pace car, the Ford FR500 Mustang. And I wonder how many miles that car's got on it, being around in iRacing since 2007.
Yeah, that would be a really cool thing. I don't think there's any way they could track that, but that would be really cool.
They probably could. I mean, the number of official races, and the number, you could guesstimate, but it'd be several. I mean, we've turned 2 billion laps and figure at least 1 pace lap. That's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
All right, pace car. Gonna stop putting miles on the odometer for the time being, as we're gonna get a restart lap number 57, and Frickenfield fires off, and a good launch for the 5 of Sam close behind as well. Might be able to get alongside Grunberg down into turn 1.
He might. Grunberg, though, has got the room clear, and he's going to take advantage of it. He's going to clear him down into turn 1. Luis Almaso trying to fight for 3rd place, though. He's side by side with that 5.
Oh, Hines got run up into the fence by the 12 of McCorkle. As field scatters again, we're really watching the exit of turn 2. That's been the trouble spot so far. How about Justin Kolb with the 25? He's been very strong. Ran really well in both races last week at Charlotte. So he could be a dark horse here as well. He's been slowly working his way up from the starting position of 14th, sitting 9th right now.
Yeah, he's done a great job in that SpongeBob car. Back up to the front, close. Tried to throw a dive to the inside of Samaso, couldn't get it done. He's stuck back and forth. I'm really curious what that Incredibles car is going to do now that he's in 3rd place. Ooh, he's loose off of 4.
So it was close. They both bobbled for a second. A block to the 12 of Cody McCorkle. McCorkle's going to have to sit in line, try that again later. Levi Zielinski has not been able to recover a whole lot since his collision at the exit of turn 2. Only 17th. He is on the lead lap, but still has a lot of work left to do.
And Alan McCorkle, too. Start back in 26th is up into 5th. A great move forward for that 12 car.
I'm watching
actually
25 and also the 21 of McKeeboy running a different scheme this week.
Yeah, McKeeboy running a Powerpuff Girls.
Oh no, the 25 spinning! And it spins to the inside apron and is going to loop it around. We're going to stay green. And Cole will get back rolling, but again, another spin in turn 2. And we're right on board here. You can watch him bobble. Yeah, just slow and steady spins around. Locks it to the opposite direction. Manages to keep it relatively straight. Meanwhile, for 4th place, McCorkle closing in on the 5.
Oh, Frickenfield around on the front straightaway. Off of turn 4, cautions out.
The leader of the race spins in turn 4. Was there contact between he and Grunberg, or did he just get loose all on his own? That's a really uncharacteristic mistake by the 15 if it's all on his own.
Yeah, no, he just got loose. He was miles away from Grunberg.
Oh, wow.
First time we've seen it in turn 4, and actually also right before Frankenfield got loose, Craig Schroeder got loose off of turn 2 on the back straight again.
Yeah, so let's take a look again at the 15. Another spin, another caution. And here's a look, just already out of shape halfway through the corner, and just tried to chase it and locked it down and kept it from getting damaged. You mentioned Craig Schroeder in the 41. Here's what happened to him. 2 simultaneous incidents bring out, I believe, our 5th caution of the night. And a lot of people hitting pit road, but a couple drivers, Finian, stayed out. What do you think?
I wouldn't want to be in the front, is what I think.
6th.
I feel like that.
Correction on the 5 cautions. It's our 6th caution tonight.
Okay, but yeah, Johnny Thomas looks like he's inherited the lead of the race. We'll see if he'll come in. I would hope he could come in because I think you really want to get those tires, but he's up in front in a fittingly Johnny Bravo themed truck.
How about Levi Zielinski? We just talked about how he hadn't really recovered. Well, here's some track position handed to him, but this is how he got himself wrecked in the first place, is playing the track position game, and it didn't work out. So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. We'll see how this turns out for the 6 truck.
Yeah, 9 and 3 are both a lap down. They're coming to the road this time by. Looks like Thomas is going to stay out, as well as Zielinski.
So Kloosterhoos, the 44, Hackathorn, the 9 of Rusty Capel, they're all coming back in for more service. Thomas Morris as well. Matt Grunberg is going to inherit what would have been the lead, so he'll restart in the 3rd position. I'll have to take it back up to take a look at the positions after the pit stop sequence. Well, we're past halfway here, Finian, and, or are we? Just about halfway, rather. And it seems like this race has really been a slow-paced evening, because that turn 2 has been the tricky spot. The 15 spot out of turn 4, that's the first time we've seen anybody have trouble there.
Yeah, and I'm curious if that's going to be a trend where turn 4 starts to become a trouble spot. But what I think this might be, I think you were mentioning the physics update. I think guys are expecting a little bit more grip out of these trucks than they actually have. I think they're forcing them a lot harder off the corners, and there's just no grip there.
I'm riding on board with the 54 Grunberg, and he's got that engine shut down and is coasting. And there's a reason for that, because 70 laps from now gets you pretty darn close to the end of the race here, Finian. So it's going to be a tight squeeze. The drivers in front, Zielinski and Thomas, definitely cannot make it to the end. However, I think they're banking on more cautions coming out. 54 is planning already in case he needs to save. Good early thinking on his part.
Yeah, I mean, really, again, it doesn't cost you anything to save fuel. Just really, I guess, extra movements and buttons that you gotta hit to try to turn the engine off and put the clutch in. But other than that, you pretty much might as well save fuel. And you know, you might be thinking, if you go off Larry Mack's trends of the race, you've had a caution every 10 or so laps, so very small runs. But you never know when the race is gonna go green, especially as we start to lose more and more trucks.
I heard some contact, like the iRacing contact sound, and I can't figure out where it came from. Thought maybe someone had blown a motor or something, but can't find any evidence of that. So not sure exactly what happened there, but we should be getting the 1 to green here shortly, and it'll be Johnny Thomas in control of the race. I don't think they're going to last long here with the 54 breathing down their neck, though.
Yeah, I don't think so either, especially with pretty much everyone behind them with 4 fresh tires. I don't think these guys are going to last long, but I think they're going to be their own worst enemy and have to make sure they keep their trucks straight. They got worn out tires that we've seen. Grip is coming at a premium here.
Double file back up. We're 66 laps into this 133 lap race. About 26 minutes would be all it takes to complete this race if they were to go green to the end. But 6 cautions. Again, we're still on that pace of 6 cautions, or excuse me, a caution every 11 laps. So that trend continues to be true. So we should expect our next one around lap number 77. And so it's 2 Silverados, and then a Silverado and a Tundra. Then a Tundra and a Silverado. They get those first 3 rows. Pace car going to peel off again for the 7th time tonight. Johnny Thomas is the control truck on the outside lane. He fires off. Green flag back in the air.
Yeah, great jump for Johnny Thomas. Zielinski not so much. He's already getting pounded on by Matt Grunberg. 3 wide into turn 1.
Yeah, this is not going to really end well for the 6 truck, I don't think. Already bobbling a little bit through turn 2. Close tries to get up through there as well. The 12 truck and McCorkle bounces off the fence, almost hits the 54. But Johnny Thomas trying to extend that lead as quick as he can.
Yeah, and so I'm also trying to keep Grunberg in behind him. Both of those guys fighting it out for second. This Ford truck's got a lot of pace. He's going to clear Grunberg by turn 1.
Walensky already fallen to 12th place in one lap. That is not going the way he wanted to. The battle for second continues, and they caught the 09 of Johnny Thomas. He doesn't have enough pace to drive away from these trucks.
Oh, and Salmaso cuts in front of the 54 to the inside of Johnny Thomas. Can he clear him off of 4?
Battle for the lead. The 4 truck Salmaso leads that lap. Johnny Thomas on the outside lane. And Grunberg's going to fire up the inside. And he'll have a run here. But Salmaso clears both those trucks out of turn 2.
Ooh, great job there. Some contact from the wall for some guys behind, but Salmaso up in the lead. Grunberg still trying to challenge as well as McCorkle in 3rd place.
Well, that got dicey there for a moment. The 5 of Sam Close has a run. Chuck Sweeting is recovering after his spin earlier in the race. He's up inside the top 10. It's getting really dicey through 1 and 2 here, though, Finney. This is where we've seen a lot of trouble. I'm amazed we got through there without collisions behind. Oh, the 21 of the Keyboy got leaned on by Frankenfield as Frankenfield gets on by, but for the lead, still, Salmaso but Grunberg closing.
Yeah, that 15 truck up into 9th place, still moving forward. So he's coming up in a hurry, trying to make up for some lot spots. Ooh, a tap sends Johnny Thomas around in turn 1, cautions out.
And that's a bigger one that time for the 09. Backed in pretty hard and some pretty severe damage this time through. And our 7th caution of the night. Didn't quite make it to lap 77. And even we got hit by the 48 of Nathan Velez, and Richard Hines got a big piece of that as well, just an innocent victim and all that. And I think the patience is wearing thin. I think these guys are frustrated that they're spending so much time under yellow that they're just pushing so hard to get track position, but it's resulting in more yellows. Here's a look from behind. Yeah, that's all on the 48 of Velez there. And Hines could do nothing to miss it.
Ooh, and Richard Hines got pretty bad damage. His car is smoking. I think he's going to be done.
Yeah, we saw how big of an impact it was for the 2.
Fortunate for that underdog machine.
Yeah, big impact. And as for the 09, you see, if that 2 truck is retiring, that means the 09 is going to be in a similar position, although his truck at least still running.
Big things up front. A lot of guys, quite a few guys in the front staying out. First guy is 5th, Chuck Sweeting. He's down up pit road. Interesting
strategy call here. Chad Frankenfield as well. There's that 2 truck smoking going on by. Salmaso leads in that Incredibles truck. It's been a good race so far. I think we're going to take a break just for a moment to catch our breath here for the final half of the race. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SimTV, gearing up for yet another restart here, the 9th race of the Enzo Graphics Unreal Tour for 2019 for the 3-Wide Racing League. It's been a wild night so far, lots of single truck incidents. The trucks are a handful tonight, and Salmaso has chosen the inside lane. The first time tonight we've seen a leader choose that lane. Finian, what do you think?
I think, grand scheme of things, I don't think it'll matter too much. If Salmaso can get a good enough jump, it shouldn't really matter with the lane choice, but I think he's trying to see if that inside lane is good for him on this restart.
Pace car pulls off. It'll be lap number 77 on the restart. Green flag back in the air.
Yep, and Salmaso with a fantastic start. Also, Sam Close trying to get a good enough restart to dive it in down to the inside of Matt Grunberg. Not enough, though. Grunberg's going to keep second place.
Big launch for the 54 out of turn 2. He's going to look to the inside of the 4. And he might even be able to clear him if he launches deep enough in the corner. Not quite, though. Salmaso's going to have a heck of a run on the exit.
Yep, Salmaso's going to get a great run, but not enough. Grunberg's still with him.
Down here.
Jordan McEvoy giving a black flag for changing lanes on the restart.
Oh boy, it's the 21. Penalty for him for jumping, or changing lanes rather, before the restart line. So he will have to make a trip down to the pit lane. Grunberg all over that 4 truck, and to the inside. Here he comes.
Yeah, they're going to try to dive it in there. Can he make it stick? Can he get in front of that 4?
Side by side, drag racing down the back straight. Oh, I hear more collisions. Chuck Sweeting spinning on the backstretch. Caution out again. And he tried to get off before the yellow wave, but not in time. Here's a look. Same situation. Almost looked exactly... Oh, that was a huge hit to the inside. That was... Yeah, that's terminal for the 26. So I think with that, instead of showing you pacing cars for a couple laps, we'll jump back to break and show you some media in the meantime. So hang with us. We'll be back for the restart here on lap 84.
To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars. Found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that is not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered legs? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air. This is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. and for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
Welcome back to the Iowa Speedway. I'm Kyle Heyer alongside Finney DeCuna on Sim TV. It's the 9th race of the Yinzer Graphics Unreal Tour season in 2019. Finney, and this one has had almost as many cautions. 8 so far, with 36 laps have been run under yellow, with 8 lead changes in our 83 of 133 laps that we've completed so far as we get to 1 to green. The field has changed up significantly. We have Cameron Rich up towards the front here, and everything's kind of shifted around. We saw Frankenfield spin out of the lead earlier. He's back up into 5th, but Salmaso's strong, so is Grunberg, and so is that 17.
Yeah, Cameron is taking 2 tires. He's going to find himself in the front leading the field ahead of Grunberg, so we can see what he does here. We saw him get loose already once, and already has a caution to his name, so hopefully he can keep it going straight, as we've seen that it's very hard and has caught nearly every driver in the field, no matter how good they are. The loose conditions that these guys are facing tonight.
Yeah, and the lights have come on and bathing the track in artificial light for the first time this evening. So the lights are on, the track temperature has dropped. And coming back to the restart, there's Paul Ross with a big damage on his truck that he received earlier in the night. That pace car going to make that hard left-hand corner once again, and Cameron Rich is going to lead them back down to the green. He fires off immediately.
Great restart for him. Grunberg, same as well. Salmaso and Close was in the front. Whoa, Close just backed out way before the corner.
Yeah, he's got a problem. The 5 car's got a problem. Or he's going to cross over and try to get the 12 back on exit. Something was, maybe he missed a shift or something, but didn't get that truck into gear. It's not quick enough.
Yeah, had a misshift, struggled to get into gear. Now fighting with McCorkle, but up in the front, Grunberg's caught up to Rich. He's looking in turn 1.
Grunberg is rock solid in both the championship point standings. He's leading them both by a lot and trying to get the lead away from Cameron Rich, who's won a couple races this season, but Salmaso wants to deny them both in his number 4 truck. So under the amber sunset here in Newton, Iowa, a 3-way battle for the lead. Make it 4 as Chad Frankenfield gets back into the fight.
Yeah, Frankenfield back up in the front after his spin leading this race. He's up there ready to fight for it. To the inside of Salmaso he goes. Going to get that spot, so also going to fall back into 4th. Frankenfield now putting pressure on the 54 and the 17. This is going to be a fight.
Which line do you pick here if you're the 15? I think you probably want to go the outside lane, but maybe he'll try to force the 54 by on the inside, and then get to the inside of him.
I think he's going to try to make Grunberg do all the dirty work, but Rich, with the older tires, he's going to go to the inside of Grunberg now.
The 15 launches to the inside, but Grunberg tries the outside. Caution again. It's a big one this time. It's the 00 again. There's a couple more trucks involving. Hackathorn got a piece of it as well. So our 9th caution of the night in 89 laps. And this one started, I believe, with the 44, so here's a look. Got the fence out of turn 2. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Ooh, the 41 and 25 got together. That's what really started that. It was a 4-truck collision. And Corey Lindsay also got a pretty big piece of that. Nothing he could really do.
Yeah, he was just in the wrong place, wrong time there.
Yeah.
From the look of it, it looked like the 41 came down into the 14. Sorry. 41 came into the 25 on the straightaway. He just turned down just a little bit.
He did turn left, yeah.
Right.
That's just, you got to give people more room than that, and it didn't, and that's what caused that 9th caution of the night. As Field heads down pit lane, and this time a different group of takers. 17 of Rich is down, so they're kind of just alternating pit stop sequences here. Top 3 stayed on the racetrack, including McCorkle.
Yeah, Grunberg close, and McCorkle stayed out. Everyone down getting service.
Well, it's been a messy one tonight, Finian, and Grunberg is sitting out on top, but the 15 of Frankenfield trying to recover from his own mistake about 50 laps ago. And really hasn't been able to make as much ground as he probably would have liked because he can't get enough green flag laps under his belt to pass anybody.
Yeah, and how about Cameron Ridge too? Did some great strategy work. Got those 2 tires earlier, kept him in front of Frankenfield. Now got his 4 tires, and he's on equal footing with Frankenfield and company.
And on better footing than the 12, the 5, and the 54 that are all leading this field. So he's in a good spot, I think, on that brightly colored Eisen Designs Chevrolet Silverado. Two Toyotas. The rest are all Chevrolets inside the top 15. Chevrolet-dominated series. We started out the night with 25 drivers. We have, looks like 19 of them still actively running on the racetrack. We've lost a total of 6.
Yeah, honestly, with the number of caution, you would think it would be a lot less, but quite a few of the incidents have been relatively harmless with all the spins going around.
We're actually closing in on having almost half of the laps we've run tonight be under yellow. 39 caution laps of the 91 that we've run. And we still have, I mean, this is a short race from here on out. If they were to go green, it's only 15 minutes, really. So it's not a lot of time, but it can get dragged out pretty quickly. This race would have been over about 40, would have been over about 10 minutes ago, 10 to 15 minutes ago, had it gone green from start to finish. So we're already kind of past that that point. And we mentioned that earlier in the night that these guys have had a great season with even a caution-free race sprinkled in. But tonight, not one of those nights.
Yeah, and I think nothing really. You can't blame the drivers because every single one of them have been struggling with these conditions, and it hasn't seemed to get a lot better.
No, it hasn't. I have to think it's something to do with the physics update, because if it was a setup, you'd think it would get better as the night goes on when the track cools down, and it has cooled down, giving these drivers more grip, but I think it's something deeper than that, something related to the chassis and suspension setup that got changed. It's really throwing these drivers for a loop on a bumpy racetrack like Iowa.
Literally throwing them for a loop.
I guess, I mean, whatever floats your boat. Okay, well, the good news is for drivers that had a troubled start, the 69 and Thomas Morris was involved in a couple accidents tonight, back up inside the top 10 in 8th place right now. 1 to green, lights are off on the pace car. Grunberg going to choose the inside lane. That's become the more popular option as of late, Finney. Why do you think that is?
I think guys are figuring that, you know, if you can get a good enough run, you're anyway gonna be pretty much in front of these guys. But if you don't, you're gonna be in that inside lane. It should be enough to try to get a good run off of turns 1 and 2. And we've seen that inside lane work in 1 and 2, so I think guys figured might as well go for that lane.
All right, it'll be exactly 40 laps to go when we get the green flag. That means the intensity is going to be rising. We've seen 9 cautions in 93 laps, and I don't think we're quite done yet. So we'll see who gets out front when those yellow flags fly. It's Grunberg, Close, McCorkle, Rich, Frankenfield, your top 5 out of turn 4. 54 is in control. We'll watch the starter with that green flag in hand, and there it is. We're back racing again, and Zielinski blows a motor and stacks up the 41 of Craig Schroeder behind him, but Zielinski pulls off the racetrack as Grunberg fires out to the lead, but the 12 truck of McCorkle slows down the 15, a scramble out of turn 2.
Oh yeah, and a car on the wall. Thomas Morris hitting the wall, but he's going to keep it going straight. Rich trying to fight with McCorkle for 3rd place. That 12 is not giving up just yet.
Field scattering, trying to find ground to run in. Right now, Cameron Rich moves his way up into 3rd place, but the battle is a big one right now. It's looks like it'll be 7th. That's Morris, Todd Smith, Austin Derbyshire, and Klooster, who's running Velez in the fence on the back straight.
Yeah, Klooster is trying to get to the inside of Velez. He's going to do that. Also looking to the inside of Derbyshire a little bit.
Couldn't keep that truck wound up, though, moving up just a little bit. McCorkle's been cleared for 5th. Frankenfield takes that P5 spot back over, goes for 4th on the inside of Salmaso.
Yeah, and these guys have been fighting quite a bit tonight. Salmaso's going to get a nice run off 2, though. But we've seen Frankenfield really being able to make that inside lane work a lot better than other drivers.
Out of turn 4, the 15's going to understeer a little bit, but he keeps it controlled side by side. But Cameron Rich for 3rd is not able to run away. They're actually closing on him now. Frankenfield fires on by the 4, almost gets in the back of the 17, only inches to play with there.
Yeah, I was really close there. Almost hit that 17 of Cameron Rich. He's going to dive it in again. Sam Close goes wide. Rich trying to close up that 15, keeping behind him.
15 truck not waiting around. The 17 slots in line. 15 says no, no. Dives to the inside down into turn 1. He'll have an opportunity to get by Cameron Rich. That would be a power move, but he slips mid-corner. They're door-to-door out of turn 2. The 17 hard in the fence.
Oh, yeah. Hard in the fence for him, but Cameron Rich is going to keep it straight, but not before getting a huge bump from Salmaso, and I think that's going to hurt Salmaso's car a little bit. That was a big contact.
Yeah, going to hurt the 17 as well. Here's another look at it from a different angle. The 15 and the 17. I think the 15 washes up the racetrack here a little bit and just pushes the 17 straight into the fence. Yeah, big hit for that Ford. For second place, though, Close and Frankenfield fighting for that P2 spot, and Frankenfield will have it, and he'll begin to run down the leader Grunberg. We'll see if he's got the pace to do it. It's a 1.3 second gap.
Not yet. Close with a big run off of Ford is going to take advantage of it to the inside of Frankenfield. Go. Can he make the move stick? It's not going to be enough, so Frankenfield's going to keep that second spot.
Now he's got the outside lane, which is vastly preferred in turns 3 and 4, so he should be able to launch right on by the 5, and he does. He clears him for second. Behind him, Rich and Salmaso fighting for 4.
Yeah, Salmaso's caught up with Rich, which is very surprising with the amount of damage to the nose, but that 4 is still in it. Rich trying to pinch him on down.
Grunberg has a 1.6 second lead over Chad Frankenfield. We'll see if that lead begins to drop. Still fighting for 4th between the 4 and the 17. Close quarters. He just clears them, and the 17's going to go to the outside. And they'll have to give that spot up for now.
Yeah, Rich struggling to get a run on the straightaway here. He's going to try to do the crossover on Salmaso coming off of turn 2, but I don't think he's got anything for him.
Yeah, pretty severe damage to both of those trucks, and Cody McCorkle's run them both down now. He's in 6th, that 12 truck is. Ream on the hood. Lead has come down just a touch. It's 1.5 now.
Frankenfield running almost a 10th quicker than Grunberg last time through. We'll keep an eye on the times and see if Frankenfield can get that spot he lost early on.
Once he got out of the lead, it's been a real struggle for him to get those spots back. That time through was a little slower than the 54.
Yeah, went the opposite direction. So both these guys trading blows with each other. They don't got too many laps to sort this out. They got less than 30 laps to go.
Corey Lindsay gets by teammate Brandon Kluster, who's both those Glory Motorsports cars running 11th and 12th. Both have had some incidents tonight. Rusty Capel in the 9 truck started in 7th. It's been a mediocre night, running 13th at the moment. He's also had some collisions, but still running at least. Thomas Morris in that bright blue and yellow 69 truck trying to run down Cody McCorkle. Last time through, they were pretty much dead even, but he has Derbyshire closing in from behind, and Mr. Pickles 66.
Yeah, Derbyshire looking to the inside, couldn't get anything done. Morris went down the order pretty early on. He's back up here in 7th, trying to hold Derbyshire off.
Leaders are really just trading blows between each other right now. No one's got a clear advantage. Closest battle for the racetrack is Kluster, and Capel for 12. Continue.
Yeah, no, and it's amazing too because these guys are running completely different lines up in the top. One time Grunberg goes low and Frankenfield goes low.
There's different lines to play with. We haven't seen drivers be able to move around comfortably here tonight because they get so loose on that inside lane at Iowa. See the 66 bobbling a little bit through the corner, fighting Velez for 8th place as they rocket off into turn 3. Now, Frankenfield that time closed in quite a bit, down to 1 second between the two.
Starting to make up some ground. Both of them low in 1 and 2, but Frankenfield's the only guy going low in 3 and 4. And sometimes he seems to be working out for him. He's yet to find a consistent rhythm to get him up in front. We'll trail them this time by.
Grunberg this time, what lap time does he run? It's going to be a 23.510 to a 23.430 for the 15. So Frankfield's got that lead down to a second. Big fight here. Cameron Rich drops down a couple positions, but it's Velez, Morris, and Cameron Rich trying to fight back on the inside lane, but it's an all-out brawl for P5 with McCorkle in that spot right now.
Yeah, the damage that Rich got has really put him back quite a bit. His truck hasn't really been the same.
And he'll continue
to have to give up that spot to Nathan Velez, and he's got Austin Derbyshire in behind him now looking for the spot. Ooh, and actually battle heating up for third. Sam Close and Luis Lamasso are about to go back at it.
Lamasso was 2/10 quicker last time than teammate Sam Close. We'll see if he's got enough pace to run him down. Speaking of running them down, Finian 22 laps to go, and Frankfield is quicker. That time by 3/10 over Grunberg. Who do you think wins in these top two?
Yeah, Grunberg keeps going at the pace. I think Frankenfield will catch him. Again, it's really up to if a caution doesn't come out. I think if a caution comes out, it might swing back to Grunberg's favor, but Frankenfield putting some great pace now.
Derbyshire around Rich for 8th place on the track.
Battle for third place is on between Samasso and Close. Samasso all over the back bumper of that 5, now just trying to look for a way around.
I'm actually surprised the Ford truck is running as well as he is, because we saw it in the contact with he and the 17.
Yeah.
Well, the 17's dropped way off the pace down into 9th. Well, the 4 is running lap times not quite competitive with the leaders, but certainly pretty good. He's going to go around his teammate for 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, it really is amazing. That damage to the nose looks like he would have engine damage or some sort of significant damage, but seems to be just as fast as ever as he moves his way up into 3rd.
McCorkle and Morris fighting for 5th. Morris dives to the inside lane. McCorkle on the outside, and Velez showing his Silverado an opening here as he exits out of turn 4. He's going to get to the outside of the 69 and try to get the 6th spot away before launching his fight on 5th with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, I saw Velez. He thought he's thinking about 3
Whoa,
wide.
no.
Morris slides up to McCorkle, sends him into the wall.
McCorkle, big impact. And that might be terminal. Looks like he might have some steering damage on that truck. He got sent way up into the fence. A big impact for the 12. Here's a look. 69 tried to clear him, wasn't quite there. And that was a big hit.
So with that, though, Morris moves himself inside the top 5. And behind him, Velez for 6, and Narson Derbyshire now to the inside.
For the lead, though, down to 1/10 of a second. Here comes Frankenfield. He's coming for the lead with 18 to go, all over the back of the 54. Here he comes down the inside. Couldn't quite get alongside. I'll have to try it again.
He goes back in the inside.
Wow.
Frankenfield seems to be much stronger at the moment, but Grunberg taking that defensive outside lane, taking that line away from Frankenfield.
He's got 9 lap fresher tires than the 54. So it might come down to the tire difference here, but he almost completes it, but the 54 is going to drive right along the door, and he'll maintain the lead, but just barely on the back straight.
We're going to see Grunberg fight for this hard. He knows once that 15 gets past, there's no catching him back.
Not quite clear. He's going to try to drift up. Does he get there? No, he doesn't.
And not enough in doing so. He's lost a lot of momentum.
Frankenfield wasn't washed up the racetrack here. Will there be contact? No, they give each other just enough room to race, but Grunberg fighting off valiantly with those older tires.
Yeah, he's doing a great job giving Frankenfield a run for his money.
That might be it. Not quite. Wow, he's putting on a good show, but he's in the fence. He's in the wall, and that might be all she wrote.
Yeah, it's definitely all she wrote right there. Grunberg had the run, but got just a little bit loose, overcorrected into the wall.
Now we've got a run going with 15 to go. Fight for 5th. It's going to be 3 wide as the 66 goes to the inside of the 48. Close quarters there. The 48's all sorts of sideways out of turn 2. Throws the block on the 66.
Yeah, aggressive moves here. These guys got to be careful. They never know the moment when their truck loops around, pushing this hard.
Now, Derbyshire is slow up the exit of the corner. He's got Corey Lindsay breathing down his neck. Last time through, Grunberg wasn't that far off of Chad Frankenfield's pace, and he's trying to launch the fight back to him. He's changed his line and is caught back up to the 15, but he's loose out of turn 4.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. His tires are too worn. Compared to Frankenfield, I don't think he can push as hard as that 15.
Certainly not going to stop him from trying. This race has turned up. It was 9 cautions in the first 90 laps, but since lap 93, we've been clean and green. Less than 5 minutes remaining in this race if we go green to the end here, Finian. But it's a half second between the top 2. But for 3rd place, it's getting even closer. Close is trying to close back up on Team Ace El Maso.
Yeah, hasn't really lost the sight of that Ford truck, and we'll see what he does. Remember, they're both teammates, so I don't think they can get too crazy as far as making a move on him, but is definitely trying to get that spot back.
Velez and Morris continue to fight for 5th. Morris a little tight out of turn 2. You see him right next to the safer barrier. Velez exactly where he started, 122 laps to go, but trying to improve 1 spot.
Yeah, Derbyshire dives to the inside of that 40, but just can't get that run off the corner that Velez can, and loses a ton of momentum off the corner.
Will lap traffic be a factor? It's Richard Hines on the bottom. These guys are running a little bit higher up the racetrack than him, though, so it shouldn't be of concern. It's a 4-truck battle for 5th place.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of these guys trying to play just a little bit conservative here. They don't want to loop it now. They're very close to the end of the race. If you make a mistake, you're not going to be able to recover.
Oh, the 66 almost puts the bumper to the back of the 48. 10 laps to go. Game time is over. It's time to race. And that means Derbyshire might have one of his best finishes of the season to the inside, almost 3 wide out of turn 4, giving each other plenty of room. But Corey Lindsay smells the blood in the water, trying to close on all 3 of these trucks.
Yeah, Derbyshire is still throwing it up the inside of Velez. He's got to be careful. We're seeing a lot of guys wash up into the driver on the outside. Ooh, and Velez with a great run off of 2 goes to the inside of Morris, now fighting for 5th.
They've been side by side several times, but the 48 hasn't been able to complete the pass. You have to use each other up a little bit. It races like a short track and intermediate. 3 wide for 5th.
How about Derbyshire with a great run to the inside? Morris is going to back out of this. He's going to do the over-under on Velez.
And Derbyshire gets 2 in 1 and completes the pass for 5th. What a move!
Yeah, what a move. Now he's got to play defense. He's got to keep these guys in behind him.
They're hungry for that 5th spot. 48 gained 1 but lost 1 as well. Goes to the outside on the front straight. Side by side for 5th. 6 to go. 7 to go.
Almost making contact on the front straightaway. Velez is trying to pinch the Derbyshire down. It's a bump in 2. He loses his momentum, and that 66 is clear.
No challenge out front. It's Frankenfield by 1.3 seconds, but the battle right now is for 5th, 6th, and 7th, with 8th place Corey Lindsay watching from behind.
Yeah, Lindsay's been watching at it. He looks like he's hungry. He's going to throw it to the inside of Morris as well as Velez to the inside of Derbyshire.
Velez got to the inside lane, but it's so tricky to make a pass down there. He hits the apron, flipping, sliding. There he goes. Going to be a huge impact to the concrete on the inside wall. That's going to be that battle over for the 48.
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. I'm surprised no one has until now clipping that apron in 1 and 2, and there we saw Velez go around. He's going to pay the price. Heavy contact and a lot of positions lost.
Yeah, Sam Close has gotten around teammate Salmaso for 3rd. So move the 5-truck back into P3. With 5 laps to go, the lead has shrunk a little bit. Grunberg has chased down Frankenfield for a moment, but then lost some more ground on that lap. So a net loss overall for the 54. 5th place still being contested more like 6th and 7th, though. Corey Lindsay has caught Thomas Morris. What does he do with the 69 truck?
Yeah, Lindsay looks like he might have something for Morris. Not too sure about Derbyshire, but all these guys seem to be pretty equal on their footing, and here comes Lindsay now. You got a good run off, too.
And takes a deep dive into turn 3 on the bottom of the racetrack. The 69 goes way up high, and the 00 is going to be alongside, but the run on the outside lane is where Morris is going to get the momentum to re-clear the 00, but I think Lindsay's far enough alongside, not quite, to complete the pass.
Yeah, Lindsay trying to be a little bit careful here. He's already got 1 caution to his name, doesn't want a second one.
Sam Close and Salmaso have separated themselves out. I think that battle is over for now. Morris and Lindsay continue to fight, but 2 laps to go. For Chad Frankenfield, the start of the season didn't go very smoothly. He was an absolute rock star when it came to the driver development series. He's been looking for checkered flags left and right. He's had quick trucks and quick cars on the cup side of things, but he only has to go 3/4 of a mile to pick up a victory in the Yinzer Graphics Unreal Tour at Iowa. And this truck, camouflaged, fought back from a self-spin earlier in the night, but he's been rock solid since then. Chased down Matt Gruenberg, the points leader, and passed him with conviction. Through turns 3 and 4, Chad Frankenfield is going to see that checkered flag, and he is going to be victorious here at Iowa. Chad Frankenfield wins race 9 of 2019.
Yeah, great job for him. Also, Matt Gruenberg in 2nd place. And rounding out our top 3 is going to be Sam Close after a valiant fight, with Louis Salmaso finishing 4th, and Austin Derbyshire with that great battle we were looking at for a while. He's going to finish in 5th, rounding out your top 5.
Lead lap trucks all come on through. Clusius is the last of them, but what a race at the end there, Finney. It was a mess to begin with, but once they got it cleared out, a spectacular race towards the end, and Chad Frankenfield victorious at Iowa.
Yeah, and it's not too often you get to see someone who completely spins, especially out of the lead, come all the way back up to said lead and win the race. A great job by Chad Frankfield getting his first win in the Truck Series.
Yeah, it's
this season.
Been a long time coming for him. Probably should have won a couple other races this season. We think back to last week at Charlotte, got wrecked out of the lead under the green flag pit stop sequence, but redemption for the 15 after the mess at Charlotte. And I'm sure it won't replace the victory that he could have had last week, but it will certainly be just as sweet. Here's a look at your race results. Matt Grunberg second place. That'll just continue to pad his points lead. Sam Close third, Salmaso fourth. So other than the 18 to Paul Ross, 3OG Racing has a pretty decent night. Cameron Rich comes home 8th. Velez in 11th after that late race incident. We mentioned Paul Ross. Cody McCorkle was having a strong run, then ended up getting walled towards the end of the race, finished 17th. Robert Hill Jr., 20 laps down in his number 38. And of course, we mentioned Hackathorn, McEvoy, Finn, Josh Adams, all those drivers taken out in that big wreck earlier in the race at the exit of Turn 2. All right, we're going to jump to break real quick. We'll be right back with your winner and a few others. Stay with us for interviews. Welcome back live to SimTV here now with 5th place finisher Austin Darbyshire in the number 66 truck. Austin, a great race tonight, showed some real speed at the end there, but hard to get a rhythm going with all the yellows. How'd you get yourself into the top 5 in those last 40 laps?
Well, I just tried to play it safe for the first part of the race, do my best. There was the one restart there I ran into the wall, so I knew I just wanted to lay back because I'm not that great at the restarts, so just figured if we could get a green flag going, I would be able to move up. And the 69 there was battling quite a bit with the other truck. I can't think of the number, but I was able to use him as a pick. And in order to get around, it was nice to be able to gain 2 spots just in one go like that. Yeah, just a lot of practicing this past week for Iowa, and I never really raced the track much before.
It seemed like Turn 2 especially was really, really challenging tonight. I asked Sam Close this earlier, but what do you think led to that? Was it the setup, or was it the truck itself and the updates it's had recently that made it a little bit wonky out there?
Well, I know for most part, like Matt and I, we haven't really ran the track since the new trucks have come out and the new build and all that. So before, you pretty much always stuck it to that first white line, and now it seems like the very inside is a lot more.
All right, well, a top 5 for the 66 of Austin Darbyshire. Austin, thanks for chatting with us, and we'll hopefully see you again, hopefully in Victory Lane the next couple weeks. We'll see you later.
Have a good one.
So we'll talk to 3rd place driver Sam Close. We talked to earlier in the night, was having a good night then and has a good night now. It wasn't quite a victory, Sam, but you got to be pretty happy with the 3rd place result.
Yeah, definitely. I'll take it. Happy to be on the podium. It's been a little while, so just trucking along there, and was hoping for long green flag runs and never really got them until the one time I stayed out. I know Matt was in a little bit of the same situation there, but he was still faster, so didn't quite have it figured out like those guys did, but kept it clean and came home with a 3rd. So I'll take.
Do you think if there was a late race restart, you would have had anything for the 54 and 15, or are you pretty happy with where you finished and don't think you could have gone any further?
Maybe if there was a late race restart where we all had fresh tires, it might have been possible. because then you could really drive the thing. But on the older tires, you had to tiptoe around a little bit more. So the way it was, probably not. But maybe if we had all fresh tires, there's no telling what would happen then.
All right, well, Sam closed third place for the 3OG Racing Tundra. Thanks for chatting. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Actually, I don't even know if we have a race next week or not. But hey, there's Matt Grunberg. Not quite another victory tonight, but the points lead continues for you in that 54, Matt. Just walk us through those closing laps. I know the 15 had a tire advantage on you. Could you have held off that 15 had you had some fresher tires?
It's hard to say. I know he was pretty quick all night, and he spun out in the lead and was able to come back up there and pass me for the lead, so that was pretty impressive. I'd say if we were on even tires, it would maybe be a toss-up. I'm not sure. But I know when we were on even tires earlier, I was catching him. But that was when the sun was still out. So I don't know. It seemed like he was making a pretty good time there on the bottom. And I don't think I was going to be able to hold him off for however many laps were left when we were side by side. So
walk us through the early part of the night. Of course, qualifying didn't go great again, but it doesn't really seem to matter for you. But there was a bunch of collisions that you snuck your way through. So just walk us through those first 50 laps or so when you snuck your way through.
Yeah, I enjoy starting in the back, so I think I'm going to do that from here on out till at least when the playoffs start, and then I'll probably start qualifying again. But those wrecks were all over on the back stretch, and it's pretty fun navigating through those wrecks. Had a couple close calls, but all in all, we were able to keep the fenders clean and able to get out front and then ahead of all the mess. So once we got the clean air, that helped us avoid all the wrecks as well. So, all
right, still a great result, a second place result for the 54 truck tonight. Thanks, Matt. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you. And if you like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, new season 7 coming out November 12th.
Yeah. There you go. There's the sponsor plug for the night. Thanks, Matt.
Yep, thanks for having me.
All right, have a great night. And the man of the hour, Chad Frankenfield, driving the number 15 truck tonight. Chad, wasn't without its drama after leading the race, spun out of turn 4, but managed to claw your way back forward and beat Matt Grunberg on raw pace there at the end. Walk us through your tumultuous night.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was a really crazy race. Early in the race, I was feeling really good, and we had a little bit of a long run, and I was able to pull away from him because I think I figured something out using the bottom in 3 and 4, and then, of course, me just trying to continue to open that gap, I spun it out, and it was just a question of me being able to gather it. I mean, I knew I had the pace. It was just a question of having the right strategy, and luckily that last pit stop, we were able to put 4 tires on it, and Matt and those guys up front weren't able to, and it would have been neat to see us on even tires battling it out, but I'll take it. At first I want to apologize to Cam Rich. I came up just a little bit and got him, and it cost him some spots, and I never want to do that, especially with Cam, so I apologize to Cam. But, it was big. It was big, especially after Charlotte last week, to be able to get a win here in the trucks.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you about that after the heartbreak last week. Does this make up for that, or is that still in the back of your mind as one that got away?
It's one of those things, I guess. I'm more of a glass half full kind of guy, so I looked at it last week as, hey, I do have the pace, I can win in the truck. So being able to do it this week, was definitely a big step. And I just again, I want to thank 3 Wide for putting this awesome lead together. High Desert Racing, Dylan Hickey, who's helping me out here in the trucks. And again, apologize to Cam. Like I said, I feel terrible for getting in.
All right, well, a victory for Chad Frankenfield, the first of the season in the truck side of things. Chad, thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you at the next race.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
You too.
And Finney and I was saying next week, I don't think we have a truck race next week, do we?
No, we do not. We have an off week next week for both the Truck and Cup Series, but a week after we'll be returning with a doubleheader, not at the same track. The first one's going to be at Lanier, and then the second race of the night will be at USA. So,
some short track action coming up, more short track action rather. But let's just go over this real quick. The messiness at the start of the race all concluded about lap 93. We're in 40 laps green to the end. Why do you think that was so green at the end there?
I think I'm guessing either A, guys taking it a lot more conservative just to finish the race out, or B, I guess finally once the track really got cooled down, it seemed to grip up for these guys. It's kind of hard to tell. But definitely there, I think, was quite a bit of a difference from what we saw in the first half of the race.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back with you 9:40 p.m. Same track tomorrow with the Cup Series thing. See, the haulers already pulled into the lot, ready to unload those cars for tomorrow night's action. The Race Kings Cup Series 9:40 for an even longer and more exciting race. We'll see you then. Have a great night tomorrow night.